Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Apparently, many Nigerians have been waiting earnestly over the issue of the PEPT result. And of course, Nigerians are also looking forward to what will be the verdict as the judiciary or eyes seem to be on the judiciary to make matters very interesting. There have been a call out. Many Nigerians or many top Nigerians, clergymen, have been calling out PeterObi to really rein in on his supporters and hear what some of the top supporters have got to tell Nigerians over their words, their spoken words, their inactions, over the sufferings Nigerians are going through in this particular regime. We're going to combine these two very interesting news into one. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Many Nigerians have been worried that if there will be a rerun, that will be a free ride for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being that he's a sitting president right now. Well, it looks like some top politicians, some lawyers who also understand the constitution are beginning to tell Nigerians, to allay Nigerians of their fears that all is well. Very quickly, as the nation continues to monitor proceedings at the ongoing presidential election petition tribunal currently sitting in the Federal Capital Territory FC, renowned lawyer and public analyst and public affairs commentator barrister Eze Eluchia has come out to insist that the Constitution has made adequate provision for what should take place if the court eventually nullifies the February 25th election and orders for a rerun. Where reports currently making the rounds in the country's media space indicate that while addressing LP, that's Labour Party members, in an online meeting, the national chairman of the party, barrister Julius Abore, alleged that the APC had begun making preparation for a possible rerun based on the avalanche of evidence tendered by the petitioners against the ruling party and its flag bearer at the tribunal. While reacting to the report during an interview, Eloche pointed out that in the event of the court asking the sitting APC president and his vice to vacate their respective seats at Aso Rock by ordering an election rerun, the Constitution clearly states that the Senate president will preside over the affairs of the country on an interim basis until fresh presidential elections are conducted and a winner is declared. He said, and I quote him word for word, "Well, if the country orders a rerun, the Constitution is clear on what should happen. What will happen is that the Senate president assumes the seat of the presidency because the court would have to order Mr. President and his vice to step out of the office, and the next in line in the order of authority in the country is the Senate president. This means that should such a scenario play out, Senator Akpabio will be told to step into the office of the president in acting capacity while INEC conduct a fresh election in the country." Well, in another news, very quickly, Aisha have decided to call out many prominent Nigerians, clergymen who she thought by now should stand true and firm. Well, you're going to, in a moment, you're going to find out why she said what she said. She has berated those asking the former governor of Anambra State, PeterObi, to call Nigerians bashing a senior pastor and founder of the Covenant Nation, Pastor Pojo Oyemade, to order. News has it that Pastor Pojo had come under heavy backlash after asking Nigerians to accept the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. Speaking on the situation, take that again. Speaking of the situation, asking PeterObi to call Nigerians to order over their backlash, she argued that Obi does not own anyone and has no authority to call anyone to order. Yusufu insisted that those asking the Labour Party flag bearer to do so were trying to emotionally blackmail him. She noted that the election is not about Obi, adding that Nigerians would not hesitate to criticize him if he asked them to move on from the electoral exercise. According to her, and I quote her word for word, said PeterObi does not own anybody, does not own anyone, and have never, to my knowledge, claim to do so. What is this nonsense, guilt-tripping, emotional blackmail of always calling him out when people abuse the sensibilities of Christians I take that again. When people abuse the sensibilities of citizens and citizens react, Nigerians are so used to this mentality and cannot imagine citizens having the minds of their own. Imagine saying PeterObi should call people to order over Pastor Pojo, as in he should call to order citizens with their minds of their own because he is their slave master. If Peter Gregory Obi tells citizens that they should move on from the 2023 election that was clearly rigged, citizens who went to vote at the risk of being killed and had their votes changed will criticize him. This election is not about Peter Obi, it's about Nigeria. People are invested. Okay, people have invested in the 2023 election. They saw their vote tampered with and they made it personal. Without RF, it would have been business as usual. With RF, people saw what they stayed under the rain, sun, and amidst threat to count being changed. How do you move on from that? Okay, but this is Aisha really speaking up her mind, saying that Nigerians have every right to call out anyone who is saying they should move on, being the fact that they voted and they waited for their votes to count, and when it was counted on the RF, they're supposed to view, they're unable to see what their vote looked like, even though on real situation it was counted. And she's not saying that anybody who's telling Nigerians to move on is not wishing the country well, and anybody telling Peter Obi to hold sway for Nigerians who are calling out those who are telling them to move on is actually giving him nothing more than emotional blackmail. Well, the truth be told, we still have what we call freedom of speech, in as much as it does not infringe in another man's right, and Pastor Pojo is entitled to his opinion. He's a clergyman of repute, and if he says Nigerians should move on, that's his opinion. Nigerians have their opinion, the government have their opinion, and Peter Obi have his opinion. But in all of this, in as much as it does not infringe on another man's right, you do not, there's still freedom of speech, but you don't infringe on another man's right. He just spoke his mind. He's just saying, look, can we all move on? It's all about Nigeria. It's all about, doesn't matter who rules. If he's ruling Nigeria well, then we should move on. That's his personal opinion, and please, in all honesty, he's entitled to it. Okay, so Aisha spoke her own. She's also entitled to her opinion. And she believes that she has invested her time, Nigerians have invested their time, and you can't tell Nigerians to just stop and say, take it, that's how it should be. And she's saying this right, that if we take it and that's how it should be, then if it gets worse than this, then we should continue to take it, because that's how it will always continue to be. Literally. And she's now saying, telling Peter Obi to call on those guys or call on Nigerians who are calling out those who's telling them to move on. Is Peter Obi, are we in a tyranny, a slave master relationship? Of course not. If you ask me personally, I think it's the work of the federal government to look into it. And if Pastor Pojo believes that his right has been infringed upon, he has every right to go through the law. Call out those or call your lawyers or your legal petitioners to see where your right has been infringed and ensure that it is reinstated. So that way there will be sanity in the country. That way there will not be anarchy. I believe that let's not begin to keep making people believe that, or keep insisting that your opinion must always count. If you feel that what you said is not right or it is right, it's just within your jurisdiction of your opinion. Others have theirs, okay? But personally, I feel that dragging anybody is not worth it. He has said his own, say yours, in as much as it doesn't affect any other person. That's the beauty of freedom of speech, but not the one you infringe on others. Let's go and wrap it up. Let's finish our conversation.